Sorry for being disorganized. All right, let's get to this thing. Yeah, I was trying to figure out if I could think of something intelligent to say. I've just been looking at all kinds of data, on-chain data, level 2 data, and the truth is I just don't have a good read. So I don't have much for you on trades. My big concern is that we've taken out this trend line, this parabolic trend line I was watching. However, as I'm watching the order book live, I'm not too terribly concerned. Move up my screen, hold on. I'm not too terribly concerned by what I see on the orders, unless just a new, monster flood of sell orders come in, which I think enough Bitcoin's been moved to exchanges that could happen. But let me pull up my pro.coinbase.com on a guest account, or on a guest browser. We can watch this together. This is the most useful to me, just when I'm trying to watch like a really short-term price action. My ugly mug is in the way. All right, so we're looking at, we got the spread over here on the order book on the left. Hold on, let me see if I can't get this. If I do pro.coinbase.com, I think I can get this. Hold on, I'm gonna need my live account, but I need to make sure that I don't have my stuff on screen. All right, that should be good. All right, let's take a look at this data here that we've got. Take a look at comments real fast. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hi, Doge-wave. Yeah, I started with the guys that make the Doge-wave music. I just threw up their radio. It wasn't actually Doge-wave, but yeah. What's going on? 12 hours till futures expiration deadline. Yeah, so I think it's just going to be really crazy until the futures expire tomorrow. Then we'll see what happens if we get a bounce. I see Jordan's here. 10K. Bill says, yeah, I love it. Brandon, cool. Oh, there's another Brandon in here. Were you getting Aave Cardano? I don't want to use Coinbase. Sorry, newbie question. Am I getting Aave and Cardano? I'm a big Cardano fanboy. If you stick around long enough, you'll hear me talk about Cardano more than enough. I don't have any Aave in my hodl bags. Yeah, I'm not. My way of playing DeFi is playing the platforms because it's easier for me to keep track of what's going on in that space. It's a lot harder for me to keep track of what's going on with all these individual players. So I trade Aave. I've had like one trade ever on Aave. I think right through here. Somewhere in here, it looked really, really good, and I put a trade on. I think I sold way too early, though. I think I got out like way early. But anyway, no, I don't have any Aave. I have a lot of ADA. It's my second largest crypto holding by a long shot now. Good evening, people of CTM. I agree. I've been F2 pool engineering a dump. Yeah, I mean, this looks like an engineered dump. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist when it comes to, like orchestration in the markets, but this looks very kind of orchestrated to me. Let's get back to the main charts here. So looking at this level 2 data, though, let me get this back to a higher aggregation point over here. If y'all can see, what can y'all see? I'm looking at the screen preview. Oh, I need to pull up my app. Hold on. I had to move something off my screen. Okay, I can see better what you're seeing now. Let me make my ugly mug smaller so I'm not in the way of this data. I mean, yeah, like this. So I've talked about this a lot. This is the level 2 data, and this is just what the limit orders that are out there right now. The vast majority of volume is not in limit orders. It's in orders that are coming in right across the bid. You see these numbers. Look how fast the numbers move really close to the spread. So what that is that's most likely. I mean, it could be traders too placing orders, but it's most of it's algos placing very, very quick orders on either side of the bid, and they're watching the spread. They're wanting to get a good price on the spreads. But if they're trying to dump, something you'll see happen is you'll see them put a ton of small orders right there, just on top of the spread on the ask side, and they'll just keep flooding small orders. And if it's somebody trying to manipulate the market, I've seen this happen multiple times where you'll see just an absolute flood of small orders coming in right on top of the ask, right on top of the spread to push the price down. And then when that calms down, all of a sudden you see these very large orders coming in on the buy side. And what happens is a lot of small orders tends to push price around in a short term more than a few large orders. And so it's their way of pushing price down and then trying to reaccumulate at a lower price, or vice versa. You know, try to push the price up to be able to sell at a higher price, whatever. You know, I don't know. All I see is that it goes through phases of, and I wish I had some better volume data. I should probably go look at the volume. I think that might give us some. Let me look at my Coinbase feed real fast and see if I can get some volume data out of them. It's the best. So this is my Coinbase feed. Let's throw up indicator, just throw volume back on here. I do want to see something in a very, very short time frame. Let's see if volume's really, now I don't know how accurate the volume feed is here. Like on a 1 hour. Like right now the volume's pretty low, but let's see how long we have left in this hour. Yeah, I just started. Let's go to like a 12 minute. All right. So that was a high volume buy right there, and then most of the selling is historically. I mean, trying to get my bearings here. Let's pull this volume up a bit. Yeah, I do not have a good read. I just do not. I don't know what to tell you guys. I'm sorry. I don't know what it's going to do. My concern is, of course, we're under this trend line, and you know, it feels to me like we came back into that for a retest, and then now we might be getting a resumption down. Obviously, if you guys are in CTM, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not in CTM, so when price pushes one way, what happens in the markets over and over and over again is, you know, price will break a key level. And what it likes to do, the market likes to retrace back to that key level to test it, and then continue on the direction it was going. This happens over and over and over again. You just see it. There's levels in the market that market participants are watching, and when you break a level, you almost always come back to test it. So this came back down to test a lower level, but that's what happens over and over and over again. Support becomes resistance, resistance becomes support, and so one of the best ways to watch to get a really good confirmation signal on a trade is to wait for a level to break, wait for price to come back to test that level, and then resume off of that level. That means that the market, whatever the trend direction is, the market's likely to keep moving in that direction. So it's a really, really solid way to place, and hide this, a way to place an order. It's a really good confirmation signal. Let me take a look at comments here. We're stuck right here. I mean, I don't know who the buyers are propping this up against the. And you guys can see, just watch the numbers fly on the left side of my screen here. And I don't know if you can kind of pick up on it, but let me see if I can get back in the screen a little better so you can see. There you go. I had it off the screen a little bit. When the big dumps happen, you're gonna see just the numbers change really rapidly right above where it says USD spread right there. The numbers are going to start changing. They're changing pretty rapidly right now, about as fast as it'll update. But they start to move at an exponential rate. All right, let me take a look at comments. A dump's not happening right now. It's just kind of, oh, there we go. A little down. No, not really. All right. Cardano's doing excellent. I agree. We can look at Cardano. Let's look at Cardano. Hey, Tanner. I was up preparing tomorrow's CTM training. Oh, awesome. Cool, Jordan. Looking forward to it. Awesome late night, pumped evening from the Sunshine State. Howdy. Sorry for keeping you guys up. ADA BTC chart, we'll take a look at it. Yeah, I mean, ADA's been killing it. And welcome to 2021, the year of ADA. I said last year, like if ADA's not the top performing asset in all of crypto, you know, I'll be proven wrong. Now there's gonna be some sleepers that are like way down, like in the top, 20 projects. ADA is gonna be the top performing in 2021. Like I was pretty sure that. Oh, this is the USD. I'm sorry. ADA BTC broke out of this level I had here, and it gave us. Depends on where you draw this trend line. The market, was kind of showing us this level here, and it gave us, if you had a trend line on that level. I'm gonna show you how I got those trend lines. Beautiful breakout, retest, resumption right there. That's what we're talking about, right? So it broke this level, came back to retest it, and resumed off of it. All right, and that's a confirmation signal. All right, let's go back. Let's show you how I drew that. So I had this downtrend that we're watching earlier, and we got a good, nice breakout of that. And it was a really good play. And then all I did is clone that line and copied it up here and found some other really good levels at the market. Some more touches up here where the market peaked up to several times. It's that similar area. So I think I had it drawn a little higher, but what I do is I have a recency bias. So when I look at my trend lines and my support levels, I do move these a little bit based on, like these top wicks here. I like that a little bit better. I call it my recency bias on that. Helps me dial it in closer. All right, let's see what we've got here for comments. Are you in Tasmania? Seriously, that's awesome. Like the island south of Africa, Tasmania. Not Africa, Africa, Australia. Sorry. Jordan's talking in Spanish. Cardano's doing excellent. Yes, I agree. So let's look at this. This is the big one, right? So I'm noticing a trend. Obviously, let's talk about Ethereum. People have asked me a lot about this. Like, why is Ethereum lagging? I do think it's going to continue to lag. Now, I think it's going to perform well. I don't think it's going to, from the USD, I think it's still going to appreciate from where it's at quite a bit. We came into 2K and got a pretty good, some of us in CTM, the Discord were saying this is almost too obvious. There's no way you can hit 2K and just reverse. And, well, sometimes things that are too obvious are just too obvious. That's what happens. So it did. It hit 2K and it reversed hard. Now, notably on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, it did break out of this downtrend and it came into some resistance I had pinned here. It peaked above that and then came back down. If you guys remember, I'll give you this update. So there's a couple things I've been kind of wrong about, or quite wrong about. And so one of them so far appears to be, I was kind of thinking through March and didn't look at. I was thinking sometime in March in the early. So we have these phases, what I call the rotation phase, which is what we played early while Bitcoin was consolidating. It's why I was trading versus Bitcoin. And then we had the FOMO phase of the altcoin season when alts just really start to go in the early phase, the early FOMO. And then we have a big shakeout and bear trap, which we may have had these two phases, and this is what we're in now. I don't know. And then the Bitcoin has its grand finale, and all this in this phase here, it's just kind of a series of shakeouts. And I'll show you this on the BLX chart here in a minute. And then the BTC grand finale is when Bitcoin just does has this blow off top, and it just sucks the life out of all the altcoins. So for these phases, we want to be heavy in Bitcoin and light on altcoins. And then there's the post-Bitcoin moon phase where the alts go insanely. Hold on, where's my? They go insanely rocket ship on us. That's the phase you want to be in alts, but it's only lasts a couple weeks, and it doesn't have to happen, right? This happened last cycle. I assume it's going to happen again, but we'll just keep a close eye on it. But I thought in March sometime. I figured once we broke out of here, we'd make it all the way to this level versus Bitcoin. That's what I was looking for, and we got nowhere near there. Fortunately, I quit trading versus Bitcoin when we got up into here, and I flipped to trading versus USD on Ethereum. So even as Ethereum bled, we did okay on the USD trades. But Ethereum has been losing steam versus Bitcoin pretty bad here. Is it going to bounce off of one of these lower levels? My chart's a little bit too busy. I probably need to clean up some of this, so I don't need all this stuff on here anymore. Let's get rid of this local blue one, leave that longer one in there. I don't know. I mean, we broke out of this channel that we were in, right? Kind of, sort of, this channel. We've had a couple of spikes above it. I don't know, if we get another strong move back up here. Don't know what phase we're in. I'll show you the BLX charts. Thanks for the like buttons. Oh, thanks, Jordan. Could be a double bottom. Yeah, on BTC, definitely. I was saying the other day, I felt like we bottomed out, which is kind of weird, but that may also just be, that kind of natural. So this trend line we were watching, this is on my Kraken feed. I don't like the Kraken feed as much as the Coinbase feed at this moment. But on the 1 hour, really, really low time frame, we hit this support at 46,518-ish, and then we got a good little bounce, but that bounce might be a retest into that level and then a rejection, which would not be great for the short-term price movement. Now, the levels I'm looking at below that, still looking at this 44.8. Let me show you why I have these levels on here. Let me go. I'm kind of bouncing all over the place, but I hope you don't mind. Let's go to the daily on my cleaner, goes to my Coinbase chart. All right, so this is when Tesla, this right here, February 8th, I believe, this is when Tesla announced that they had put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, right? So somewhere over here, we had this downtrend that we were watching closely. Let's start over here. I think you guys get the idea. I'm trying to do stuff. All right, so we had this nice little breakout. This was when Elon changed his, his Twitter to hashtag Bitcoin, and then we had that nice breakout, retest, resumption, and that level. This right here was the level that we had that when Tesla announced. I think the top of this candle and then the bottom of that next move are really, really strong support. So while we broke this daily uptrend, we might just consolidate and maybe come back down here. And the reason is this is where the market topped out on the daily as a result of the news of Tesla buying Bitcoin, which is super crazy bullish news, right? And the market going below that point, there's going to be a lot of buyers right at that level. And then obviously we had that bounce, and then we had a little bit of a retrace to this level and back up. So these two, this close this bearish candle is really what I'm looking for. And then obviously the next bullish candle tells you there was still a lot of buyer interest, right? So we had this little bit of a reversal. Buyers came in with a lot of fervor and pushed it up. So these two levels are going to be really important levels. So while we've broken our downtrend, I think the reason I said in my tweet earlier that I think 42K will come in fast is I kind of meant overnight, when whoever is trying to push this market down, if they do a big dump activity overnight. And can y'all see my chart okay? Make sure y'all can see it all okay. You know what? I just realized I had the chart I had had it resized for the Coinbase information. I'm sorry about that, guys. All right. But, I hope you see why I have those levels where I have them. And this is very much the top of this bullish, very strong bullish candle from the Tesla news. That's going to be a lot of support. The market's going to want to respect the fact that that super bullish event happened, and then the bearish retrace off of that, and then the resumption off of that. Those levels are really important. However, I do think we can get a wick down on if tonight, especially, if whoever's trying to dumps hard at 2, 3, 4 a.m., that's when we get a wick down to 42 and even maybe 38. I think that'll be a wick down and a pretty quick recovery, but I'm prepared to see a 38K even in here. I actually have I need to go see if I can't find a way to get an order in at 38K. That'd be a nice place if you have any funds available anywhere. And I just now thought of that. I need to go do that when I'm done here. So 38K. And the reason I say 38K, let me show you all why I said 38K. I'm trying to remember where it is right here. I think I needed a lower time frame to see it well. Let's go to the 8-hour. 12 hours. Is it the top of that? So this, yeah. I think it's the top of these bodies is what I'm kind of looking at. Well, I'm not seeing it as clearly as I was earlier. Why I was thinking 38K. I don't have it on this particular chart. I have 42 on this chart. Let me just put a horizontal and just work on that real fast. I don't know if it's maybe the very top of this wick. If I put a line there, let's see what that looks like. I really like this level. Now that I kind of analyze this last bearish candle. So this was that breakout retest. I like this last bearish candle before this very strong impulse as well, because that's the last, that's the last place buyers started picking up right before the news. So that's the last bearish move before the news. So I think the bottom of this bearish candle, it's 38,863 is another good level. Now, obviously, a wick down because of liquidity and taking stop loss can go a lot further than that very quickly, but that's going to create a lot of buying. 42K is the very top. That's the peak of the initial early January move. So those are the levels. So that's why I have those levels. So the bottom of the bearish candle on the 12-hour, that's on the daily as well. Perfect. So the bottom of the bearish candle before the Tesla news. That's going to create a lot of buying. The top of the very peak of the January impulse, that's 42,000, right around. The bottom of the first bearish impulse after the Tesla news, and then the top of the bullish impulse, daily impulse, after the Tesla news. So those are why I picked all those levels. So all those levels combined are 46,500, 44,865, 42,000, 38,860, and 34,591 if you guys are trying to work on your own levels. Some ideas. All right, so hope that was useful, guys, on that chart. Like I said, ADA is bullish. Let's look at some more comments here. Shout out from Australia and East Coast. Man, I want to go to Australia so bad. I'm jealous. Thank you for the shout out. Captain Benny's here. What's up, man? Out there on the island. What interval do you believe the retest and resumption could accurately be spotted? The 4 hour, I think, is probably good. Good question, though. I like that question. Yeah, I think the 4 hours are good. Right now, when the market's moving pretty fast, and Jordan has said that you can trade as low as a 2 hour in crypto. That's wonderful. I don't feel comfortable with that. I like the 4 hour better. The 4 hour still gives me plenty of opportunities. Like I haven't seen where I missed too many opportunities in the 2 hour versus the 4 hour. And even that, I still vastly prefer the 12 hour. There's not a lot of places I found where I've missed opportunities on the 4 or 8 when I could have taken a similar opportunity on the 12 hour. The notable exception is when but to answer your question, because this is a pretty fast-moving market, I think you'll be able to spot it on the 4 hour pretty well. That's where I spotted. If you look at this, when I kind of knew, like I had this gut feeling that the market was going down, but the 4 hour was what told me it was going down. We broke this uptrend that I had on another chart, right? And we broke down, came back into that level, and then so as soon as we hit right here, I knew it was coming down hard. Now I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be a quick 20% recovery. We spent more time down than I expected. So I think you can spot that on the 4 hour. Now, again, for the most part, I've had plenty of opportunities and entries on the 12 hour that I wouldn't like. I went back and just looked at a bunch of charts, and I think we did this on a live stream maybe 2 weeks ago now, where I went over all the opportunities, and we were trying to compare how many opportunities did we miss by trading the 12 hour versus the 4 hour. And there wasn't many. The notable exception was right here on DOT. When DOT was really strong, we had a few additional trading opportunities, entry signals, this consolidation, and maybe right here. We had a few more opportunities in this very strong move on DOT on the 4 hour. So that's when you want to flip. Like when something's really strongly trending like this, that's when you want to flip to the 4 hour. And ADA probably would have been something similar. Now, see, even ADA gave us 12 hour signals just fine. So you'd had plenty of opportunity to get a good signal here and here. I'm looking at the 12 hour right now. You would have had plenty of opportunity on the 12 hour. You didn't need the 4 hour to get these entry signals. So anyway, but if you're trying to spot moves, especially in a fast trending market, I think the 4 hour is fine to kind of to spot that. Again, I spotted this. Now let's go to the 12 hour. See, I wouldn't have spotted with the same fidelity. I would have been way later in spotting this downtrend. I guess we would have caught it here, right? So you break out, and you'd have been way down. This is your retest or something. So, yeah, the 12 hour didn't give you good data on that, but the 4 hour gave you great data that you're coming down. And remember, one other thing to keep in mind is we are on a strong uptrend at any sort of reasonable time frame. So looking for sell-offs is, we should be looking for where the market's going to catch and lean into support, because this was an indication that it was going to come down for a little bit, but overall, and that's a very short time. Overall, it's a very strong, healthy uptrend, right? So we're not looking for sell-offs. We're looking for to lean into support, But yeah, so for this right here, the problem, this next, if we do get a rejection off of this, the next sell-off is going to be much smaller than this one. Because this one, the big difference is this was a big vertical move, and there's lots of room to come back down to these levels. This after this Tesla impulse, there's plenty of room to come back down and test that. It's exactly what we've done, which is just fine and healthy. It's no big deal. If we do get a resumption rejection here, there's lots of support. All those levels I called out earlier, all the different levels we picked. There's lots and lots of support. So, you know, at this point, we're already, what are we down? We are down, at this very moment in time, we're down 19% off the peak. So, you know, our downside is very limited. Like, when you're up here, the downside is 30 or 40%, right, potentially. When you're 20% off already, the downside is, you know, another 10%. And especially since you've kind of caught some support, likely given the uptrend that we're in, you know, the downside is really about another 10%. Well, where would that put us? Where's 10% at? Yeah, 10% puts us right on that 42,000. That's why I said 42 could come in fast. I think 42 is going to be really good support, as that was the top of the January impulse. And if we trade below that, the market's completely discounting all the bullish news, namely the Tesla, you know, MicroStrategy's continuing to buy, Square adding to their balance sheet, and Tesla putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Those are three monumentally huge. All those have happened since that peak was made, right? That peak was made on different, so the market has digested a whole bunch of more bullish news. So anything below this 42,000 is going to be extremely short-lived. And I kind of think anything below the 40, this top of this, what I call the Tesla wick, is going to be extremely short-lived as well. All right, back to comments. I hope I've been talking for a bit. Hey, Heath. Thoughts on Kraken? Or do I make them buying ADA? Man, Binance, if you have access, for sure. You can buy it on Kraken. There's a few other places. There's Crypto.com, and there's a bunch of other places you can buy. Whatever's best for where you're at. Binance would be my recommendation if you have access natively to it. Hope that answered your question on the time interval there. All right. Could you look at LRC and SRM? I love LRC. It's lagging a little bit right now. I'm not too worried about it. I've been building a hodl position. I will buy, see this right here? I've got this downtrend. We'll go to the 4 hour. So I've been tracking this downtrend. I'm going to add, so I started buying it over here. So I'm down on a little bit. This is versus BTC, but nonetheless, I'm buying it with Bitcoin. So I want to beat BTC. But it's a hodl bag for me. When we break out, we get a breakout of this. A downtrend is when I'll add. I've been just waiting to add on LRC. And you asked about CTM multiple off ramps. Yeah, you want to have multiple on and off ramps. I'm set up. I've got KYC set up with about 6 exchanges or 7 exchanges at least that I can use. Thanks, Oana. Like button. It consistently fails to reach the levels that should retest, like 42K. People FOMO in before it gets there. Yeah. Agreed. Heath is here. All right, yep. What's up, everybody? Always lurking. No problem answering your questions. Thanks for asking the questions. I appreciate you being on. Buffalo, New York. All right, man. My wife has a team in Buffalo, New York. We used to go about once a year. Last couple of years, obviously, we've had a baby, and then there was this virus that went around, and so we haven't been up there in a couple of years. But Niagara, and we always end up going like early spring, late winter. It's really early spring, but we've been there when the falls are frozen over a couple of times. Look at XLM. Oh, somebody asked me to look at another, and with LRC. I'll try to find your comment here in a second. But I got LRC. I love that. I mean, LRC it's looking like it's coming into the support that I've got here. Let's see if we get a breakout of this downtrend. That'd be great. A great opportunity to get into LRC if you're not already in it, or add to it if you are. XLM. Yeah, XLM. I've got it up here at the top. It's one I actively trade. I don't hold it. It's not in my hold bags. I don't believe in it long term. But I do think it's got some great. It can definitely move. It does have some utility. I mean, it's not completely. It's a good project. It should soak up any and all interest from anything that Ripple had that was actually viable should obviously flow over to Stellar, in my opinion. So what I see here is we had this giant wedge pattern. Man, this is a beautiful. I did take a trade here. It was a nice little trade. We got into a trade after somewhere in here. I don't remember what it was exactly. On this breakout of this gargantuan. kind of highly volatile bit of consolidation, but it ended up being a good trade. I've been out of it for a bit. It came back in and test the top of this breakout level. So 12-hour again, my preference. And I think I took this entry on the 12-hour originally, right through here somewhere. One of these test wicks, right? I think that probably was my entry right there. Same thing's going to set up here, right? So we had a breakout of this whole wedge pattern, came back into it. So now you've broken out. You've broken that same level where my entry would have been. You've broken out of this support that I have right here. You come back into that support, and a resumption signal off there would be great. The only problem is that you're going to have some like resistance right here. But it's light resistance. It's not super strong resistance. So an entry is an entry. Just manage it appropriately. I would put your stop loss below those wicks for sure. Another thing I do on crypto, for those of you who are maybe new or haven't heard this before, when I first enter my first position, now I don't take one position in crypto. I scale in as things move. So my first entry will be 2 support levels down my stop loss. So I size my position. So like this is going to be a level right here, right? That's support right there. So my stop loss will be not like in Forex. You'll probably put it below like whatever your test wick is. You'd find some level below this support to put your entry. I don't do that. I go an extra support level down just because I want the market to be able to catch any crazy volatility and try not to get wicked out. So my initial position is actually really, really small. And then I scale in as I see more entries like this. I think I took 2 entries here, right? So I took an entry here. I moved my stop loss up to break even on this next entry signal. As soon as I got this other entry signal, I added a little bit bigger position, moved my stop loss up to break even, and I moved this stop loss up. I put that stop loss, similar thing, to kind of what I would call 2 levels down, and then I managed it appropriately and took profit at some point. That's how I play crypto. I go two levels down. It gives me the ability to stay, avoid being wicked out a lot. And like I said, I stage in. Sometimes I'll take 3 or 4 or 5 trades. It just depends on how the setup ends up happening. They're all really small trades. They add up to no more than 2% risk. The only instrument that I take more than 2% risk on is Bitcoin itself, and then I'll do like I treat that one a little bit differently on trades. But everything else is all just 2% risk by the time I scale in and how I'm managing my positions. All right, let's take a look at comments. Do you see some positive news for Layer 2 ETH coming out, bouncing the price? Yeah, Johnny, I've been talking about, I think Layer 2 scaling solutions are great opportunities. So the ones that I have a basket of, okay? Actually, LRC is like my 6th largest holding right now. I've been building a position in it for the long run. I'm going to hold it for the duration of the bull market, but I've been slowly adding to it. And it's kind of taken the place of VeChain. So I had VeChain as like kind of my other, but Loopring is a scaling solution and an exchange. That's why I like it. It's both a decentralized exchange and a play on Layer 2 scaling. My other scaling solutions are Ren, Synthetics, SNX. Is that the only SNX I have down here? Ren, SNX, Synthetics, and Matic. So I've got a little bit of Matic. I think I told Lemmy was asking me this morning because he got in the trade with me on this one. I took 50% off. I took my initial. Because it's moved almost double, right? So I took whatever it took me to get my initial investment off. So the rest on is just kind of house money. So I'm on a free trade basically now on Matic, and it's not a trade. That was a hold position, but it moved enough that I decided to go ahead and take my initial off anyway. So I've got Ren, Synthetics, Matic, and Loopring are my basket of plays in that Layer 2 scaling Ethereum scaling solution, and the truth is I've been whittling down my Ethereum core position quite a bit. I'm down to like 8%. It was by cost a 12% position a while back, and I've whittled it down to 8%. And what I've done is I've really I sold a little bit of it and that helped me buy this dip right here. I actually sold a small portion of ETH at 2K when we came off of 2K, right as we were coming down. Right at 2K, I sold. I think it was probably like 1930 by the time I actually sold it. But whenever we got a confirmation, like whenever I saw it looked like we were coming down. And I use it to buy the dip on Bitcoin. So I rotated a little bit of Ethereum to Bitcoin, but I used Ethereum to buy this basket of stuff. So I'm slowly divesting away from Ethereum and whittling it down a little bit here. and I probably won't go below where I'm at. I'll hold what we have, but I think it's going to underperform enough that I decided to move to a basket of layer 2. Because the thing is, Ethereum, if it's going to remain the dominant player, it can't do it alone given the work it has to do to get through Ethereum 2.0. And that effort is probably going to be just, could be problematic. It may go smoothly. I don't know. But they're going to need, for now, really Ethereum can do everything that's needed if everybody were to really heavily adopt scaling solutions. So if, Ren VM is what allows wrapped Bitcoin. So their VM is the core capability that allows the wrapped Bitcoin, right? Matic is a scaling solution. Synthetics is a derivatives play. They create synthetic assets, right? And then LRC. So that basket is my way of staying in the Ethereum ecosystem, but getting off of Ethereum itself too heavily. Not because I think it's going to do bad or tank or anything else like that. I just think it's going to slightly underperform a basket of layer 2 scaling solutions and underperform ADA and DOT here on out. Like I don't see, I can see a world now that ADA has popped here, where ADA cools off, maybe a post sell the news event when Mary's hard fork goes live, and and then Ethereum might have a run conversely, and so we kind of get like a bounce back to like this type of level here or something. And I can see it cooling off for a bit, but I don't see Ethereum vastly outperforming by the time we're all said and done ADA versus ETH. I still think ADA is still going to outperform it from here, although we probably have peaked out a little bit. I'd be looking for Mary. So just so I'll know on ADA, Mary's hard fork is not the launch of Goguen, right? It's not the same thing. They're two different things. So Mary's hard fork is one of the many steps to get to a full Goguen implementation. Full Goguen is full smart contracts, and that won't be out. That won't be fully rolled out until later this year, probably late summer, early fall, when all of the computation layer is fully online and capable of taking full smart contracts. But right now, what they're launching, what the Mary's hard fork allows for, is multi-asset natively on chain. So unlike Ethereum, where you have to create an ERC20 token every time you want to create a new token, developers building on the chain have to write a smart contract. And these smart contracts, especially when you're creating an ERC20 or other, token types, non-fungible tokens to different ERC, I forget which number it is exactly, but they're kind of wrought with a bunch of potential issues with the contracts. And so it's happened multiple times that there's been a flaw in the smart contract and it's caused issues. You don't have to write a smart contract. So on ADA, the big difference is that the main chain is natively multi-asset, which is kind of unique in crypto. So you can just create an asset, and the owner has special privileges to manage that asset, but you just create it natively on chain, and it's the same treatment that ADA does, which means that all the coins that are created on Cardano, exchanging them is going to be basically free, because the cost, it's the same cost of transferring ADA from one wallet to another as the cost of exchanging one token for another on the Cardano network. Mary's hard fork is what it's bringing online, which allows these projects that are going to be developing on Cardano when the computational layer is fully rolled out. It enables them to get started now. And it enables a bunch of other projects too. There are other projects that don't need the full computational layer, that just need this ability to create tokens for different things, non-fungible tokens or whatnot. Right? It allows them to get started. And so, but that's another thing. That's why there's so much hype for ADA, is because it's got this unique ability to be, it's every token that's created on it can be exchanged at no cost instantaneously at the speed of the Cardano network. So it's basically a decentralized exchange plus a layer 1 platform plus a bunch of other things. It's got a bunch of stuff. So, but Mary's hard fork is not the same thing as Goguen. So don't get those two things. I've seen a bunch of people make a bunch of comments. I think they think that the upcoming Mary's hard fork is the full Goguen launch. That's a series of events that are happening throughout this year. So the Sell the News event on the other side of the Mary's hard fork will probably be pretty small. And look, I want to show you something else. A lot of people talk about the Sell the News event on ADA, and there might be one, sure. And it'd be more of a dip buying opportunity, and here's why. If you look at BNB token, the BNB token ramp was post-launch. So this big thing was post-launch, right? So this consolidation was leading up to the launch. So this move here and here were news that the launch is coming. And this move here was news that the launch was live and that Pancake was coming over. So this was post-launch. So there wasn't a sell the news, there was buy the news. And that's because what happens when they go live is they can also announce all the projects that are coming onto them. So in this case, it was Pancake Swap. It created a lot more buzz for Binance Chain. I want y'all to know that Binance Chain is technically inferior to many Layer 1 platforms as far as a Layer 1 platform. It is really custom built for exchange. It's pretty much just an Ethereum ripoff. It's a lightweight Ethereum base. It's an Ethereum virtual machine compliant chain that operates at about a 5-second block size. So it operates a little bit faster and has a little bit more transactions per second, but it's very focused on being able to create assets. And it still requires a smart contract. It doesn't have the capability that Cardano has with native on-chain. The Binance Smart Chain is technically inferior to a bunch of projects. Polkadot, Cardano, very technically inferior to those two. Technically inferior to Algorand, maybe even EOS. That's debatable. And Zilliqa are all far superior technically than the Binance Smart Chain. So just know that when you're looking at Binance Smart Chain, it's a great utility token, obviously, being that it's tied to Binance. The incubator is probably the best thing about, to me, the Binance token. The incubator program, the ability and the launchpad that they have is the best part of it. But the problem is, what's the upside of that market? What's the upside for an intermediary for crowdsourced funding? I mean, Kickstarter has to ask for tips to be able to just keep operating. It's not really a super profitable market to be an intermediary for funding. So, all that said, just be careful with Binance. All right, I just went on a complete rampage. Went off the what virus? Yeah, what virus? I don't know what virus. Aave. Yeah, Aave's great. Aave's been under some pressure. Look at that. Yeah, this Jordan's covered this one well. I haven't talked a lot of these ones that Jordan does cover on the stream. I don't really talk about too much for a couple of reasons. One, he's covering them, and I don't feel like duplicating. And two, it's not a project it's not a pet project of mine. I'm much more interested in, DeFi is great. The way I play DeFi is through the platforms, because the platforms themselves not only have the advantages of being able to take advantage of all the money coming into DeFi. Let's go to DeFi Pulse and take a look at things. But look, the value locked in DeFi is dropping because Bitcoin's price is dropping. But where was I going with this? But the upside for the platforms is way bigger, right? The upside for the platforms, it's a totally different ball game than a specific use case. So, what's the upside for, exchanges today, like centralized exchanges? How big is the market cap of just a pure centralized exchange? It's really not that big compared to like a Google or an Amazon, right? And the platforms are the things that enable the Googles or the Amazons. So really, the platforms, you can value them as if they were a multitude of mega, tech giants. Anyway, platforms have a lot more upside, and it's easier for me to keep track of the key platforms. That's how I play the DeFi, because all these DeFi names are going to be built on some platform. Right now, they're all pretty much built on Ethereum. And they'll start to move over to other platforms as soon as there's options, but they're pretty much all built on Ethereum today, and that's why Ethereum has so much value built into it. And I was gonna look at something here. Yeah, so Matic for payments, Matic's up there, but it's really pretty small right now. The decentralized, there we go. Decentralized exchanges. Notice this, that Loopring as a decentralized exchange. Now it has some limits, obviously, and they still need to build a lot of things out, but it's got a lot of coins available. But what coins it does have available, you can exchange them at a fraction of the cost of like Uniswap, and it happens near instantaneously because it's a much faster. It's a ZK rollup technology. So basically, they can do a lot for every single transaction that the Ethereum mainnet does. They can aggregate a bunch of smaller transactions and then finalize that on the mainnet. So that's how the rollups, real overly simplified work. So, but Loopring can do a bunch of transactions really fast and then roll those up into one, one transaction on the mainnet chain. So again, it's both scaling and a decentralized exchange. So that's why I like that play. All right. Let's see here. I'm getting behind on comments. ETH is completely decentralized, while ADA and DOT offer attractive resumes, sacrificing some decentralization. Antonio, do your research on that. Honestly, DOT and ADA are arguably more decentralized. I'm not going to debate the point right now, but just go do your research on that. I would say that they are more decentralized. To be real though, until ADA actually has production speculation, I'm not flooding. It just has long time, maybe 3 lives before it'll do something amazing. Maybe passe T, but remember that Ethereum is not complete either, right? Ethereum is still a test network. Until Ethereum 2.0 goes fully functional, they're going through a transition period as well. They have a lot of use case, and they're the ones that have the current, use case, but they are going through a transition as well. And we don't know if Ethereum 2.0 is going to work either, and they're going to have to go there, right? So the truth is, nobody knows if any of these blockchains will work at scale in the real world, because nobody's done it yet. Ethereum has to get to 2.0 to be able to fully do it themselves. Now, they really embrace layer 2 scaling and stuff like that, then we'll see how that would work out. But I'm getting a YouTube is not able to. My stream health is poor. What's happening with my stream? I'm getting some packet loss here, guys. I'm sorry. All right, but I hope you guys can still hear me. Let me know in the comments if you can't hear me. But yeah, so the main takeaway for me is like ETH 2.0 still has to roll out, and the other argument is that all the formal verification that Cardano has done, the likelihood that Cardano as a complete end state is going to be successful is far more likely than Ethereum 2.0 is going to be successful, because they've spent an enormous amount of time building the technology, validating it, and learning lessons from other projects, and Cardano is pretty much built on technology that everybody understands. So it doesn't use sharding, which is a big, the thing that Ethereum's doing, the thing that DOT's doing. That's what Zalika did that got it all the hype. So it's not relying. It's doing multi-chain. So it's got multi-chain orchestration and the ability to do like this Mary's hard fork coming up. It's going to be a non-event because of the way that they can manage forks, and multi-chain. And so it's a multi-chain solution, which is, known to work a lot better. So, thanks, Tanner. Good. I'm glad the stream was actually okay. I was just telling me it was like getting low on. So I get the debate and I get the argument, but the truth of the matter really is Cardano is more figured out and far more provably and verifiable technology-wise in Ethereum 2.0. And I know it's, Ethereum's working today, but Ethereum 2.0 is completely different than Ethereum. Not completely different, it's still the same Solidity programming language and stuff like that. But the way the inner workings of it are vastly, vastly different. So, take that into account when you kind of think about that. What do you think about Kratos Fintech? I've looked at it a couple times. I don't think I have the brain cells right now to go look at a new project. I don't have a strong. I haven't looked at it enough to give you off the top of my head feedback on Kratos Fintech. KCS BNB for KuCoin. Yeah, I have looked at that. I've actually been looking at KuCoin more and Bybit and a few others for Kraken alternatives, since Kraken's been messing up. I don't want to say too much about any of that because I'm still researching and I haven't had as much time. Gene says, I've been thinking to just hold ADA and DOT for full market cycle and let this shake. Yeah, absolutely, Gene. That's exactly what I'm doing. I mean, yeah, I throw some trades in there, right? I have a small portion of my Bitcoin on Kraken, still, that I've been trading with. And, I throw trades up on DOT, ADA Link, XLM, whatever else. All these purple things are all the things I trade on Kraken. If I see a setup, I'll take a trade on it. I even took a trade on Litecoin, which I don't like because there was a setup. It was a good setup. We made some nice profit. Or was that the USD chart? I think I got rid of it again now that I'm done trading it. Yeah, I take trades, with a subset of my funds as the trade setups happen. What's Bitcoin doing? So far, so good. We'll just see if he consolidates down here. But yeah, I've got my HODL bags that I'm holding. So my allocation right now, just so y'all know, I'll just find some white space on the screen here. It is roughly right now because ADA has outperformed. It's roughly like 50. I think I want to say 52% BTC. It's about 18% ADA. Now, since ADA has been stronger, it might have shifted a little bit back to. It was up to 20% ADA there for a little bit. 18% ADA, so it's 52% BTC. And this is not financial advice. Do not think this is financial advice. I don't know what I'm doing. You'll end up living in a van down by the river because I'm an idiot. But this is just what I'm doing, right? So BTC, 18%, and then I've got basically, it's right about 8% that I've got ETH, Link, and DOT at 8%. And then I've got a bunch of other small stuff that compromises, I think, like 2% or something, small amount. But ADA's 18% of my crypto holdings, and Bitcoin's, it was higher. It was like, I started at like closer to 70, maybe 68%. But ADA just outperformed so much that it is now my number 7. But yeah, I'm going to hold it through the very end of the market too, Gene, exactly. Thank you for that comment. Agree, hold REN, LRC, and SNX. All right, Johnny, good deal. I have some more rum. Okay, I'll have some more rum. Go to the tangent here in a minute. I think I'm drinking Vizcaya. I drink my rum neat too, just so y'all know. Straight, neat, really good sipping rum. Stream is solid. Thanks, lag. We can see. Thank you, Keith. Heath. All good down under. Had to talk slower up there. So will ETH and ADA, ETH and ETH 2.0 coexist? So I have an ETH video, ETH 2.0 video. If you go look at, I need to redo my playlist. I'm very sorry. They're kind of scattered, but I think there's a playlist called Oversimplified. I think I have a Ethereum 2.0 Oversimplified. Go watch that video. I probably need to do an update because some things have changed. Not too terribly much, but things have shifted the roadmap a little bit. But basically, ETH 2.0 and Ethereum will coexist. The Beacon chain has been launched. So Ethereum 2.0's Beacon chain, which is the Beacon chain is the main chain that orchestrates all the rest of the shards. And the proof, that's a proof of stake network, right? So it's proof of stake. It's dependent on how many coins you've staked in the network. But anyway, the network we have now is proof of work. It's miners trying to solve that complex mathematical problem. The proof of work network that we have on today is where the smart contracts will live all the way through to the very final phase. What happens is Ethereum, as the Ethereum 2.0 gets developed and they continue to test it, the Beacon chain is a big test network, right? And they're going to work in building it up. And then at some point when they are comfortable that the Ethereum 2.0 network is fully ready to go, they'll merge or dock, a couple words that they used, the existing proof of work Ethereum chain as a shard onto the main Beacon chain. It'll dock to it, and it'll no longer be proof of work, which means miners will no longer be able to mine Ethereum. It'll all be rewards given through proof of stake, through delegating and staking, or staking really. So they do coexist while the Ethereum 2.0 network is being developed, and the merge should happen at the end of 2022, so about 2 years away. So Ethereum is going to be the network that we know now will be fully functional. All of the smart contracts live on this network, and so smart contract functionality will not move over to Ethereum 2.0 until the current mainnet today gets docked to Ethereum 2.0. Then that brings smart contracts with it. So the one thing to understand about that is that all the smart contracts today, all that ERC, all the tokens and everything else, Uniswap, all that will happen on the existing network until it gets docked. And so the gas fees will continue to be what they are until that gets docked. And so, the way, there's a couple proposals obviously to help with gas fees along the way. Along the mainnet, EIP 1559 is one of the main ones. and that'll probably happen here in a couple months, which will start burning some Ethereum and be a little bit deflationary. But so they won't have the gas fees fully resolved until the end of 2022, early 2023. So we've got that much time, and so obviously as Polkadot and Cardano and other platforms are viable for developers to move to, they may lose some adoption during that transition. We'll see. It depends on how successful the layer 2s are and if they can get gas fees under control. But also remember, the Ethereum mainnet's only capable of like 20 transactions per second. So there's just all around scale limits. So between layer 2 scaling and some of the improvements that they're looking to do to optimize gas fees, it's about all they can do for now. What's wrong with Kraken? I'm very cautious about my trades, since I haven't had any problems with Kraken at all. That night that everybody got liquidated, I was out of all my trades. I was fortunate to be out of all my trades. My stop losses would have been placed in such a way that I think I'd have been filled without too much slippage had I had trades on. But fortunately, I wasn't in the position of the big massive sell-off and having stop losses get slipped. So I think the biggest complaint people are going to have is if you had an order, like say, I had to switch. So to that point, I had to switch to a different feed for my ADA chart. So here's the data feed from Kraken on ADA USD, and obviously ADA crashed all the way to 15 cents. Well, that's because it was so bullish. There was a ton of people leveraged long on it, and they all got liquidated massively, right? And that's a bit of a problem. The problem is not if there's just a liquidity event and things sell off to this point because there's just not enough buyers and so forth and so on. It's if you had a stop loss right here, and that stop loss didn't get filled until down there because of like an insane stop slippage, which I don't know that it was that severe, but I've heard of people that had pretty bad slippage, something like that's the problem. That's the problem. If you had a stop loss up here and you got filled down here, I would be very, get wiped out because you got filled in. That'd be pretty aggravating. All right. But yeah, this is the problem. They need to fix it. They're not. I'm looking to get off of Kraken because if they've been saying that, there's no problem. We worked as intended. This is it's just how the system works. Everybody knows the rules. And sorry if you got wiped out. Well, I would accept that explanation if this happened across all the exchanges and price being 15 cents on Kraken, at the same time price came down to who is it? Binance. Price came down to 80 cents on Binance. There's a problem there, Kraken. So they need to fix it. That's all I know. All right, see you a bit. I'm gonna wrap up here soon too. I guess that didn't really answer your question. I do know ETH will become 2.0, so there will not be 2. Yeah, I mean, there won't be like 2 parallel. It'll be, everybody's going to use what we know as mainnet today until it gets docked into what's being developed as Ethereum 2.0. So when everybody says Ethereum 2.0 went live in December, no. What happened was the beacon chain, the initial test net, basically, went live. And now now the beacon chain's live, you can actually put stake assets. So basically, staking went live on for the beacon chain, and with the staking, with the contract to move tokens over from 1 to 2. So anyway, it won't be fully. The main takeaway is that it won't actually be fully live until the end of 2022. So we have almost 2 years until Ethereum 2.0 is actually fully supposed to be live. But remember, Ethereum 2.0 is supposed to be rolled out in 2017 originally. Just keep that in mind. Like when they released Ethereum in 2014, they had said that they were going to immediately ramp up and get the Ethereum 2.0 like 2016, 2017. And they pushed it off because they started getting adoption, and they didn't want to upset the apple cart, and so they kept pushing it. Now we're at a critical juncture, and if you look at the market's reaction, Ethereum was very, very strong, but maybe now people are saying, okay, what Ethereum's doing is a day late and a dollar short. That's kind of what I'm feeling, that Ethereum is going to be a day late and a dollar short, and when it's all said and done, they're probably going to go the way of Netscape or Lycos or whoever. You know, I don't know. They're too dominant for now for me to see them going, like, for me to make those type of crazy predictions at this moment in time. But it's a possibility. I think the market's starting to price that in a little bit. That's why these, you know, competitors are starting to doing really good versus it. All right. That's a good point, Scott. Yeah, EIP 1559 won't necessarily reduce them. It'll normalize them. It does. Yeah, you're right, because it's a constant. It's a base fee. Yeah, you're right. All right, see ya, Heath. I'm gonna wrap up too. I had Ethereum pegged. So you see here, I talked about some other streams on Ethereum price. I think I was a little bit maybe high on it, so we'll see. My official prediction was it would hit 2,000 by the end of March, and it did that. You know, hit that in late February. I did say that was my first take profit target, right? This is what I had as my take profit targets, these purple lines. So 2058, we got a little bit shy of that. I originally had it drawn at 2036. So we basically hit that. Then I inched it up a little bit. And then it's 2264. Now, of course, throughout the month of March, I expect Bitcoin to firm up, and I think Ethereum will go ahead and retake these levels. So this is a matter of how much does it lag. But yeah, the price target, I said by the end of March we could be as high as $27.99. It was like my top end of this next phase of the altcoin move was 2,800, and the bottom end was 2,000. So far we've hit 2,000. We'll just monitor it going forward. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap up. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Hope it was useful. We got the Synthwave. Let's throw on some Doge-wave here.